You are currently throwing away an asset worth more than all the gold on earth, and you are doing it with a smile on your face. This is the story of a 29-year-old high school dropout who found himself completely bankrupt, living in his rusted sedan and facing the sudden loss of custody of his only daughter. What he discovered during a midnight shift at an all-night gas station didn't just rebuild his family. It turned him into a highly sought-after automation consultant managing logistics operations across the country. The practical daily framework he used cost nothing, but it will permanently shatter the illusion that you have plenty of time left. Ethan stared out the cracked windshield of his old sedan, watching the rain beat down on the empty parking lot of a 24-hour gas station. At 29, his life had become a chaotic blur of survival. He worked the graveyard shift behind the counter, stocking shelves, sweeping floors, and rings up cheap coffee for truck drivers. Ethan was incredibly sharp when it came to technology. He could take a piece of broken machinery or a disorganized software spreadsheet and naturally figure out how to make it run faster. His true dream was to build an independent consultancy that helped small manufacturing businesses automate their messy supply chains. However, Ethan carried a hidden, destructive flaw that kept his dream locked in his imagination. He was a chronic victim of the perfect scenario. He would buy a new textbook on coding or logistics, read one brilliant chapter, and then close it for weeks, telling himself he was waiting until he had a completely stress-free weekend to dive in. He treated his hours like an endless ocean, confidently assuming he could always start his real life next month. The emotional pain of this constant hesitation eventually tore his family apart. His ex-wife, tired of his empty promises and his habit of spending his afternoons watching mind-expanding documentaries instead of upgrading his career, took a job in another state. Because Ethan couldn't afford a stable apartment, a family court judge restricted his visits with his 6-year-old daughter, Lily, to just 2 weekend afternoons a month under strict supervision. The first time he had to say goodbye to Lily at a public park, watching her cry because she didn't understand why her father couldn't take her home, a wave of profound self-loathing washed over him. His chest tightened so severely that he had to sit down on the wet grass. He returned to his car that night, realizing that his habit of delaying his growth wasn't just stalling his life. It was actively robbing his daughter of a present father. He felt completely paralyzed by his own choices. The ultimate crisis hit on a freezing Tuesday morning. The manager of the gas station walked into the break room and handed Ethan a final notice. The corporate office was installing self-service checkout kiosks at the end of the month, and Ethan's graveyard shift was being eliminated entirely. With zero savings, a mountain of overdue credit card debt, and his car's engine beginning to knock violently, Ethan realized he was less than 3 weeks away from complete homelessness. He sat on the floor of the station's back room during his break, his head in his hands, completely overwhelmed by fear. He had traded his entire 20s for comfort, and now he had nothing left to show for it. That was the night he met Raymond, an independent technician who came to repair the station's broken refrigeration units. Raymond was a 60-year-old veteran engineer who moved through the store with an unbelievable rhythmic focus. He didn't waste a single step, sorting his tools with mechanical precision and fixing a complex electrical fault in less than 20 minutes. Raymond noticed Ethan staring blankly at a row of inventory sheets, tears silently rolling down his face. "You look like a man who is watching his house burn down but refuses to grab a bucket," Raymond said, wiping grease from his hands. "I don't have enough time to change my life," Ethan said, his voice cracking with emotion. "I lose my job in 2 weeks. I'm completely broke. I don't have a college degree, and I have to study at least 500 hours of enterprise logistics to even get an entry-level interview. The math is impossible." Raymond reached into his pocket and pulled out a small, heavy silver coin. He tossed it onto the counter. It landed with a sharp metallic ring. "Look closer, kid," Raymond said. "That isn't money. That's a token from an old printing press. It takes exactly 15 minutes for a master pressman to set a single line of type. Most people think their life changes in big years, but it actually changes in 15-minute blocks. You are throwing away your life 4 or 5 blocks at a time, complaining to your coworkers, scrolling on your phone in the alley, or waiting for a perfect mood to study. For the next 30 days, you are going to track your day in 15-minute intervals. Face your data or accept your failure." The next morning, Ethan began what Raymond called the block audit. He divided his entire day into strict, non-negotiable 15-minute increments using a cheap notebook. The internal resistance from his own mind was immediate and brutal. After an exhausting shift at the station, his brain begged for the escape of mindless internet videos or a long, unstructured nap. He sat in his car, holding his pen, his fingers shaking from exhaustion. On the 4th day, the temptation won. He spent 2 hours listening to a sports broadcast, filling his notebook with angry black lines out of pure self-loathing. The numbers were terrifyingly clear. His data showed that even while working, he was wasting nearly 4 hours every single day in a fog of passive avoidance. He immediately channeled that harsh realization into disciplined action. Every morning at 4:30 a.m., while sitting in his car using the free Wi-Fi from a nearby coffee shop, Ethan opened his textbook. He studied the logic of supply chain automation for exactly 4 15-minute blocks before doing anything else. Then he spent 2 blocks practicing coding scripts on an old laggy laptop. Small signs of progress began to appear within his layout. His mind, previously clouded by chronic worry, became incredibly sharp. He stopped looking at the 500-hour mountain and focused entirely on winning the current 15 minutes. Because he was practicing intense concentration, he built a basic automated inventory tracking script for the gas station's manager during his final week on the job. The manager was so impressed by the sudden efficiency of the system that he introduced Ethan to a local warehouse owner who was struggling with misplaced shipments. The warehouse owner offered Ethan a temporary low-paying contract to clean up their digital database. It wasn't a corporate salary, but it was a foot in the door. However, a major setback occurred during his second week. A massive power surge at the warehouse wiped out the unbacked-up server containing 3 weeks of Ethan's custom optimization models. The warehouse owner panicked, blaming Ethan for the data loss, and threatened to cancel the contract without paying him a single dollar. In the past, Ethan would have taken this as a sign of bad luck, cursed the universe, and walked away defeated. But his mind was now trained to think in hyper-focused blocks. He didn't waste a single minute on anger or self-pity. He sat down with his notebook, calculated exactly how many 15-minute blocks he had left before the morning deadline, and calmly rebuilt the entire database script from scratch overnight. The results were a massive breakthrough for the facility. The new system didn't just recover the lost data. It reduced the warehouse's shipping errors by a staggering 40% in less than 10 days. The owner was so stunned by Ethan's relentless composure and technical genius under pressure that he signed Ethan to a full-time monthly retainer and recommended his services to 3 other regional logistics centers. Within 24 months, Ethan went from a broke graveyard shift clerk sleeping in his sedan to the principal architect of his own automation consultancy, managing a small team of remote programmers. The physical transformation was complete. He rented a beautiful sunlit apartment with a dedicated bedroom for his daughter, and his face radiated a deep, unshakable confidence. But the most profound change was entirely internal. Ethan no longer looked at his future with a sense of helpless anxiety. He looked at his watch with absolute reverence. He understood that his professional freedom and his restored relationship with Lily were simply the direct rewards of how he respected his minutes. My friend, this story is not about learning logistics or building a business. It is about the absolute delusion that you have plenty of time left to become the person you want to be. Every single hour you spend complaining, procrastinating, or waiting for the perfect motivation is a portion of your existence you are actively throwing away. Time is the only resource you can never earn back. Stop treating your life like an endless ocean. The question is not whether you have the talent to change your reality. The question is whether you are willing to respect the 15-minute block right in front of you. Pick up your tools and begin. You are currently breathing away the most valuable asset you will ever own, and you are doing it completely for free. This is the true story of a 34-year-old culinary school dropout who found himself completely broke, facing a severe medical crisis, and sleeping on the floor of a commercial kitchen. What he discovered during the darkest winter of his life didn't just save his health. It transformed him into an international culinary consultant handling multi-million-dollar openings. The forgotten daily protocol he used requires zero money, but it forces a realization that will permanently change how you view tomorrow. You are actively committing a form of silent suicide every single time you tell yourself that you will start tomorrow. This is the incredible story of a 36-year-old furniture restorer who found himself completely drowning in debt, sleeping in the back of his freezing workshop, and facing the permanent loss of his family. What he discovered hidden inside a broken antique clock didn't just save his career. It transformed him into a world-renowned master craftsman managing historical restoration projects worth millions. The simple daily pattern he discovered will completely shatter your illusion that you have plenty of time left.
The shadow stirred in the darkness. What was that? It's getting closer.